Developer Moon Studios is back to kick off a sequel to Ori and the Blind Forest in the form of Ori and the Will of the Wisp. Does the game tug on our heartstrings? Or does it fail to live up to its massive expectations? Find out in our review. Ori and the Will of the Wisp opens with a beautiful montage that shows Ori and Ku, the owlet hatched from Kuro's egg. Ku was born with a gimped right arm and is unable to fly, leading to some sad times, especially when combined with its confusion over why it finds itself being raised by two folks who are not owls. Ori remembers that Kuro left a single feather behind and gives it to Ku. This feather gets stapled onto Ku, and then Ori and Ku take off into the skies, allowing the owlet to get a taste of freedom and a sense of place in the world. During this flight, the duo finds themselves in the middle of a bad storm that decouples the feather from Ku and sends the pair into a tailspin, splitting them apart in a strange swampy land known as Inkwater Marsh. Ori wakes up from the fall-induced coma and sets out to find Ku. Avoiding spoilers, the journey takes place across a wide variety of locations, with the Forest of Nibble only being a very small portion of the game. The action takes Ori through the swamps, into a desert area, canvassing ice, spelunking underground, and more, with the narrative being the integral component of the action. So the less known going into the game, the better. Fans of the Metroidvania genre will have a strong idea of how Ori and the Will of the Wisp works. A large world is there for exploring, with big chunks of it being inaccessible to the player until certain items or abilities are discovered or earned. Certain locations that may be out of reach to players may require the ability to double jump, glide, or flip switches before you can proceed to the new area. There are special wells that can be found during the playthrough that allow for life and energy to be recovered, progress to be saved, and facilitate fast travel between major areas of the game world. NPCs will be littered throughout your journey that can offer clues on the location of special side missions, speed trials, or other points of interest. These things will be marked on the game's map for easy reference. Each main area also has an NPC that will sell you a map, much like what we've seen in Hollow Knight. NPCs can also sell spirit shards and upgrades. Spirit shards are items that grant either passive or active abilities to Ori, such as the ability to grab walls like Spider-Man, deflect a percentage of damage taken in combat, or enhance offensive prowess. Initially, only 3 of the spirit shards can be active at once, but additional shard slots can be found or earned. These shards can be swapped in and out of action at any time. In addition to a basic energy sword, Ori and the Will of the Wisp offers a serious expansion of the combat system from the first game. New weapons like bows and whips are now on the menu, allowing players different ways to dispose of the odd, menacing creatures that litter Ori's path. These weapons and other abilities are mapped to the 3 upper face buttons on the controller, and like spirit shards, can be adjusted quickly within the game's menus. The enemy encounters are a welcome step up from Ori and the Blind Forest, and add depth to the journey. However, the combat falls a bit short of what was delivered in Hollow Knight, and a fair bit behind the exceptional Dead Cells, but it suits the game well and never drags down the enjoyment to be had. It could be argued that The Will of the Wisp is the best looking game released this console generation. A mix of colorful, dreamlike vistas paired with wonderful animation never fails to impress. Unlike the original game, which used loads of 2D animation, the sequel is presented in 3D, allowing for a better, smoother animation from all parts of the visual output, from characters to environments. The original game had animations and movement locked at 30 Hz. Even with the PC version unable to add much to the experience, Ori and the Will of the Wisp suffers from no such limitations, running at 60 Hz on the Xbox consoles and even higher on well-equipped PCs. The difference in visual presentation is akin to when the Street Fighter series moved between the hand-drawn animations of Third Strike to the 3D Street Fighter 4. The game looks beautiful. The image has depth, with fluidly animated foreground vegetation, sometimes occluding the picture, and serene background scenery oozing style. The camera will often zoom in and out to emphasize important moments and situations. The wide-angle perspective on the impressive boss encounters is a particular standout, especially accounting for the diminutive Ori. The accompanying soundtrack does its job well, working with the narrative to wrestle some tears out of the players during heavy moments, and providing bounce during the more hectic platforming challenges. It's unfortunate that HDR output is absent from the PC version we reviewed. The feature is only available on Xbox One. The rest of the available options were just as limited. It was unfortunate that you weren't able to rebind anything or swap movement from the control stick to the directional pad on PC. It would have been nice to be given the option to use the D-pad over the joystick. We were told that an update for the PC adding both HDR support and additional options was in the works, but no firm timetable for release date was given. Genre fans and devotees of the first game should put Ori and the Will of the Wisp on their must-play list. It looks like $1,000,000 in motion, and the narrative is sure to please franchise followers. With the game's standout musical score, a major expansion of the game's world, and its mechanics are all a welcome addition to the experience. We are living in the golden age of Metroidvanias, and Will of the Wisp deserves to stand with the best of the bunch. For more video reviews and everything else gaming related, you're already in the right place. You're on Shacknews.com.